Hi, this is Nick Fundytus from Ottawa, Ontario, and this is Nick Answers Reddit for the week ending uh, December 8th, 2023. So, as user Klutzy Sessions 7130 has asked today, um, can I rent out some rooms? So, as the title says, I'm wondering when I can rent out some rooms if I use the first time homebuyer plan for my principal residence. Thanks. So, their user. As one of the other commenters on this thread mentioned, it is very, very unlikely that you're going to run into any issues with your first home buyer plan that would be impacted if you just rent a room. Because number one, the home is still your principal residence, so you are not changing that fact. So therefore, it wouldn't impact your first-time home buyer plan. And second, renting rooms is individually is very different than renting the whole property or renting out a unit, say in an apartment or in a multi-unit like a triplex or a duplex or something like that. So basically, you're in a different situation than if you were to rent out the whole unit. And so your first time home buyer plan is not going to be impacted. That said, as the other user also mentioned, there's some due diligence you should do. And I want to expand on that. I think this is useful information for you if this is the first time that you're tackling this. So, number one, um, clarify and what your and your tenant's rights are and responsibilities under your provincial landlord and tenant registration. In Ontario, for example, the tenant has many fewer rights in a room renting situation than they do in renting a whole unit or a whole property. It's easier to evict somebody, less notice is needed, less sort of reason is needed, so that it's more strongly in your favor. That said, you're picking a person who's going to be living in your space with you, so you want to be careful here. So if you happen to be in Ontario, I've linked that to my answer, and you can find all the relevant legislation. And if you are elsewhere in Canada, I would recommend Googling, my province Landlord and Tenant Act. So like Alberta Landlord and Tenant Act or New Brunswick Landlord and Tenant Act. Your province will have legislation that pertains to it. Pay particular attention. So one, what you need to provide to a tenant. So do they need their own bathroom? Do they need access to a shared bathroom, a shared cooking area? I mean, there's certain things that you can and can't do as a landlord in that situation. What standard forms you might need to use. In Ontario, I think it's less strict than if you're renting out a whole unit, but there may be standard forms that you need to use. And then what rules are for severing notice. This is very, very important, because if you screw up giving notice or ending a tenancy, you can be on the hook for a certain amount of rent. Sometimes it can be quite substantial, and the province may even decide to level punitive damages against you if they feel that you've evicted somebody unfairly. So, and it's just not right to do anyway. So make sure that you're taking the steps to be a good landlord here. So since your rental income is going to have tax implications, I would also ask my accountant, and you should have an accountant, for the best way to track and record your income and any strategies that you can use to minimize the impact on your overall tax burden. Ask tenants who apply to use your province's standard rental application form. Most provinces have one, to keep things organized, and make sure to check references and credit scores. I mean, even if you have a good feeling about whoever's there, or you know them a little bit, the person who's going to rent there, do that background check. It's going to give you peace of mind, and it's going to, surprises are never good when you're looking for tenants. So you want to find these things out ahead of time, rather than when they already live with you and you find out, they're convicted felon, or they're completely broke and owe hundreds of thousands of dollars, or have a history of fraud or something like that. If you have a realtor that you have a good relationship with, maybe the person that you bought your house with, you may approach them to go see if they can run credit scores. I know that here at the office, for our clients, we can run credit checks on behalf of our clients here for applicants. We just need their application, and then we usually charge back a fee. I think these days it costs about somewhere between $30 and $40 to go run a credit check on somebody. What else? Finally, run ads in various places. Don't just stick to Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or whatever's popular in your neighborhood. Hit all the different channels, update those ads. Maybe pay to get them promoted, just because there's usually so many rental listings on some of those platforms that you want to make sure that you're at the top and you're considered and you have some options. There's nothing better than having a bunch of options rather than feel like you get stuck with, kind of a C level or D level applicant on your property and feel like you got to take them because there's potential for some rental income there. You might also consider doing Airbnb. I mean, it's always controversial in cities. People feel that Airbnb takes potential long-term rental stock out of play, or potential places that someone's owning. However, in your case, you're just renting rooms, so you're not really doing any of that. And if you're willing to deal with the kind of the hassle factor of doing Airbnb, where you have lots of people through all the time, it might be a worthwhile thing for you to do, because the per night rent can often be a lot higher than what you'll get from a monthly or a yearly tenant. So anyways, that's my advice on there. Good luck on the search. And if you have any specific questions, you can always reach out to me in comments. And if you are watching this video and you're not this Reddit user and you have any questions of your own, comment in the video below, comment on our blog or any of our socials. I'm always happy to help you. My team is always happy to help you. And we can't wait to help you make a good move here in Ottawa or elsewhere in Canada. Bye for now, and we'll see you next week.